Hello everyone, my name is Andrew Garrison. I'm a Vistelar consultant and we are talking about steering the Titanic. Pete Jaskolski is there with you, and sorry I can't be there, but my wife and I are expecting a little baby boy here in November, so I'm sure you're going to enjoy Pete. If he has not already introduced yourself, you have a treat in front of you. We'll begin with some of the takeaways. You're going to get a one-page sheet of the takeaways of this course, and I want to start out with steering elements. So this is strategic planning. In strategic planning, there are 6 P's that are very important to steering your organization. Bureaucracies it's just a classic situation for bureaucracies not to do strategic planning because their rules are already in order. So if the rules are there, what creativity do we need to really do? Well, you need to do a lot because you're working with people. So let's start off. First of all, you must define your purpose. Why am I here? Why are we here? What service are we providing? You need to define that. You also need to define it with the personnel that you're in charge of. Your personnel is the very reason that you're here. The only reason that you're here. It's kind of funny because I hear a lot of administrators say this, man, I love management. I love management, but the only thing I don't like is kind of having to deal with the employees. That makes no sense to me. If they didn't need a leader, then there's no reason to pay you. If everyone did what they're supposed to do, if everyone was perfect, they would not need that leadership. So define your purpose through your personnel. If you gathered all your personnel and counted the years of experience, you would probably have not just decades and decades, but centuries and centuries of experience that you as a leader can lean on. So define your purpose and make sure that you train your personnel so they can do the job right. So the third P, we've defined our purpose, we've trained our personnel, and now we need to plan. When you plan for success, you're really looking at every single facet of your organization. Is it a service? Is it a product? Is it law? Is it statute? What is it that guides you with what you do? So planning is important because it's really strategic planning when you look at your vision. What's your vision for this place? You look at your mission. What is it that we are going to accomplish? You need to develop objectives. Some people call them goals, but you have short-term and long-term to make that happen. The how-to, and that's one of the joys of working with the Vistelar group because they're a how-to organization, are the strategies. How are we going to make sure that that happens? So involved in that, we have program delivery. To deliver the programs or product that you develop or that you have to offer is of supreme importance in your organization. Refine the process. What processes do you have? What's there since the beginning of time as far as the organization goes? What is ingrained? What systems do we use? What software? What do we do great? What process is cumbersome? Look at those things and try to improve. By refining the process, you also move towards the last P, which is targeting progress. We want to get better. As we look at archaic systems or archaic ways of doing things, and government's a Titanic in this very regard, is because all the innovation is happening in the for-profit sector. It's entrepreneurial spirits that are inventing things. I give the example of the iPad. I wasn't talking about apps 6 years ago, but now they're everywhere. And it's entrepreneurial, for-profit businesses that are leading that charge. Government, secondary. It'll trickle down to us. But can we be on the lookout? Can we look at our procurement code and make sure that we can take advantage of opportunities? So just to recap, steering elements. You have purpose. Through your personnel, you plan for success. You deliver your programs or product, you refine your processes, and you target progress. The second takeaway that we'll present are team maxims that are universal. They're truly universal in that every team member wants these things. There's 6 things that I'm going to go over. The first one, every team member wants to know expectation. What's expected of them? If we do not lay down expectation, then we have done nothing. There's a great book by Danny Meyer, and it's called Setting the Table, and it's actually a restaurant guide to customer service and leadership. And what Danny Meyer follows is what's called constant, gentle pressure. He allows the organization, the employees, to set the table for that restaurant. Once they set the table, it's his job to make sure that that table setting doesn't get moved. And here's the trick. Everyone's going to move it. Your employees are going to move it. Your customers are going to move it. You may even move it because life is not perfect. It's called Murphy's Law. It's called the law of entropy, whatever you want to call it. It's that piece of a system that does not produce work. So entropy is going to happen. How you respond to it versus react to it is where the magic is. Every team member wants to have a hand in organizational direction. They want to be included. Don't waste all the wonderful experience that your people have. Get to know them. Know that they have this experience. Is your frontline server actually a former chef? You want to find that out because there's a bunch of wisdom within your staff that they're only going to let you know if you ask them, if you draw it out, if you include them. Number 3, everyone wants to be informed. There's nothing like government that speaks to lack of transparency. People get orders at the top. It's built as a hierarchy, and so information finally trickles down to the bottom. It doesn't trickle down to the bottom till there's frustration, there's distrust, there's so many things going on that can just ruin the morale of your whole group. So make sure that you keep people informed in a timely manner. Number 4, people want to receive consistent and actionable feedback. I don't want too many good jobs and attaboys or hey, you messed up, Andrew, unless I get some type of actionable feedback. How can I fix this, or how can we collectively fix the problem that you're identifying? So make sure you as the leader that you give feedback, but that it's actionable on the part of the employee. This one's important. Every team member that you have wants to be recognized. I used to be a hardcore young manager from the old school that thought this was the equation, and this was the only equation. You work, you do your job, we give you a check. Well, where do attaboys fit in there? It's not really part of the equation. They're getting paid. There's the attaboy, they get paid. That was a blind spot on my part because people want to get encouragement. They need love and encouragement. They need human interaction. They need to be recognized. So recognize them for even the status quo things like being on time. Build incentive campaigns throughout your organization so people can stay at it and know, you know what? Me just getting here, being here on time, ready to deliver customer service is important. They know it's important only if you recognize the importance. And lastly, number 6, people want to be guided, they want to be corrected, and they want to be disciplined with dignity and respect. Vistelar defines dignity as something to be upheld. It's someone's self-worth. It's an inalienable right. And by showing respect, you uphold someone's worth. So stick to the issue, stick to the codified body of knowledge that you have. If a rule's been broken, use that constant gentle pressure to kind of bring people back in. You need to be constant because if you're inconsistent, folks aren't going to believe you. And then you're going to start having turmoil within your staff. It needs to be gentle because people, they deserve dignity and they deserve respect. And that's an unconditional, ethical rule that we should all have. We treat people with dignity and respect. The service sequence is the last section that we're going to go over, and I developed this in the restaurant business. I'm not in the restaurant business, but some of my friends are. And when we look at the Vistelar group and where we're going with verbal defense and influence, we're really looking at 100% of the population. I look at my wellness teachings as the same thing. Who needs wellness? Well, everyone breathing. So who needs dignity and respect? Same thing. So the service sequence speaks to that frontline personnel that's going to be face-to-face or face-to-camera, giving wonderful, perfect service. Now, this is why it's perfect, because there's a system to it. So we took the persuasion sequence from Vistelar, and we added just a couple of details on the sequence. So let's go to number one, ask. Ask what the customer wants or needs. Add, before that, the universal greeting. I opened up with it. Hello, my name's Andrew Garrison. I'm from Vistelar. The reason I'm here is to ensure that your experience is wonderful today. How can I be of help? You've answered questions that they may already have just by greeting them in a proper, concise, and detailed manner. Number two, set context based on customer-driven focus. Set the context of their process, the process that they are going through by interacting with you. Don't be standoffish. They're not an interruption of your time. They are the very reason that you have a job and you're paying your mortgage and you're paying your car, because you are there serving them. So put yourself in the right perspective. Make sure your employees do the same. Present options is number three. What can the server provide to earn a second chance? Not every customer is going to be happy. I know that, because I'm not always a happy customer. But when that occurs, not if, when that occurs, can we present options for them to find something that's amenable? Number four is confirm the customer satisfaction. I don't want you leaving here until you're satisfied. I'm here to take care of business. I'm here to serve. I am a servant. How can we make things right? And number five, we act. We connect with the customer to ensure return business. See, conflict doesn't always happen verbally or is it shown. I've seen a bunch of folks receive bad customer service and they don't say a word about it until they walk out the door and they tell their friend about it. And they complain, did you see that guy, whatever his name, Andrew Garrison? That guy was a mess. He gave me the worst service ever. I will never come back. That's what you may face. You could face that and you've lost a customer forever and didn't even know it. It could be a huge blind spot in customer service. So how do you take care of that? You ask them. How did we do today? How can we be better?